Well, hello and welcome to Motorweek 88. We're glad to have you with us. This time we're going to take a look at the first Japanese model that we've tested this fall, the Toyota Corolla. Of all the Japanese car makers, Toyota has had the edge with new engine technology. A few years back, Toyota was the first to bring 16-valve, four-cylinder engines to the masses. And this year, as usual, Toyota has upgraded nearly every car in its lineup. And this year, even the bread-and-butter Corolla family sedan gets that 16-valve treatment. So we have to ask this question: how much can Toyota upgrade economy cars and still call them economy cars? Since the Corolla name is nearly synonymous with basic family transportation, let's start with the basics. From stem to stern, the 1988 Corolla four-door sedan looks new. Styling is smooth and contemporary, borrowing heavily from the larger Camry. While the wheelbase is unchanged, an extra inch in width and 4 inches in length gives the Corolla a much larger stance than most other subcompact sedans. The heart of this Corolla, however, is even more significant than its face. Each and every Corolla now sports a 1.6-liter 16-valve four-cylinder engine. To some car makers, engines like this are a high-cost option. But Toyota is bringing this latest in engine technology to the class of cars that need more power but can't afford to lose their high fuel economy image. On that note, the Corolla is EPA rated at 30 city and 35 highway with a 5-speed manual. Our test loop of 33 certainly seems in keeping with the Corolla reputation. But with 22% more horsepower than before, we also can't fault 0 to 60 times of 10.8 seconds. That's above average for all family sedans and significantly better than most other subcompacts. 16-valve engines usually do their best work at high RPM, but Toyota has wisely selected gearing that gives the Corolla a stoplight advantage. The disadvantage of that gearing is slower acceleration to longer distances, but the Corolla doesn't suffer too much. It runs through the quarter mile in 18.3 seconds at 76. Our car's 5-speed manual had nice, light throws, with only a little of the vague feeling usually found on front-drive cars. But you have to wonder why the Corolla's engine is still being fed by a carburetor. Toyota says cost and complexity is the reason. We think it's rapidly shrinking profits and a fast-rising yen. The interior of the Corolla also shows its move upmarket. The Econobox pieced-together theme of old Corollas is gone. It's roomy here, with nice-looking fabrics on our base deluxe model. The dash has a sweeping driver's pod that flows into an easy-to-reach center control tower. If one thing still says economy car, it's the gauges. On the deluxe, there's no tack or readouts for oil or voltage. However, the gauges are large with easy-on-the-eyes backlighting. The seats also fail to make a big impression, or rather, we couldn't make an impression on them. They're too hard, yet don't offer enough lower back support. We do, however, appreciate the firm side bolsters, and with the optional tilt steering wheel, anyone should be able to find a comfortable driving position. We like the fact that the radio is mounted high enough to keep its controls from being blocked by the shifter. There are plenty of air vents, and the heat controls are simple and effective. And there's even a handy cup holder. While the rear doors are short, they open very wide to make entry quite easy. The bench seat also has low side bolsters, and head and leg room are good for a subcompact. Rear shoulder belts are not to be found. There is an inside trunk release, and the boot is flat and deep with a bumper height liftover sill. We were surprised that the rear seat on our Deluxe doesn't fold down for additional carrying space. You have to order the more expensive Corolla LE for that feature. Back at our track, we were perhaps expecting too much from our grown-up Corolla. It's by far the best handling Corolla sedan yet, but it still delivers too little feedback to the driver. The optional power steering has almost no feel. The clutch and shifter also require little effort, so the Corolla driver feels somewhat isolated from the road. On the highway, however, longtime Corolla fanciers will find a degree of ride sophistication they simply won't believe. The Corolla that looks like a Camry rides much like one too. At 67 decibels, sound intrusion is also at a point once reserved only for the best luxury cars. We have never been fond of Corolla brakes, or the Camrys either. For 1988, the Corollas are better. As you can see, stops were straight and stable, but we had to take great care not to lock up the front wheels. Distances averaged 132 feet from 55. That's okay, but a 2,200-pound car should stop shorter. Maybe some future Corolla will include anti-lock brakes. They don't yet, nor do they have front passive restraints or rear shoulder belts. Of our 5 safety check items, only bump-proof bumpers and radial tires are present. But then, this Corolla, even with its strong Camry kinship, is still a fairly inexpensive car. The deluxe 4-doors price tag begins at $8,900, plus freight. Our car tallied closer to $11,000 and included such options as power steering, AM/FM stereo, cruise control, and air conditioning. While price didn't make our list of hits for the Corolla 4-door, its sleek styling, roomy interior, strong 16-valve engine, and commendable fuel economy did. Misses include its vague power steering, touchy brakes, no standard folding back seat, and lack of fuel injection for its sophisticated motor. One of the Corolla's main import competitors, the also new Honda Civic sedan, actually costs more with the same options. But the Honda does have fuel injection for its 16-valve engine, along with better high-speed handling. On the other hand, the Nissan Sentra 4-door has a lower price, but without a 16-valve engine, it also is much slower than a Corolla. And if you think the sedan looks like a downsized Camry, just look at the new Corolla wagon. A revived body style, it is already in high demand. While Corolla sedans have been front-wheel drive for 3 years now, the 2-door coupe joins the fold in 1988. In sporty GTS trim, it makes the most enjoyable use of the Corolla's 16-valve power and fully independent suspension, and it does have fuel injection. With all its improvements and higher price, is the Corolla still an economy car? Well, relative to other cars, yes. It's just that typical families now expect more from their typical cars, and the latest Toyota Corolla delivers in a big way.